Hey, it is Kenny's Audiophile Record Reviews. Thank you very much for viewing my video. As always, please like and subscribe. I sincerely appreciate that. In this video, I'm going to do quick reviews of recommendations of 3 really good, really great jazz albums. Actually, the last one is going to be a soft recommendation. Some of you may not like this one by this particular artist. I'll get to that in the last review of this video. It's from a very famous jazz musician. That's going to be an interesting review. I also like to thank Evan Saez. I'm probably mispronouncing his name. Evan Saez. He spelled his last name S-A-E-Z. I want to thank him for leaving a PayPal donation through the PayPal link in the description below. Those donation goes towards me buying new records. I really appreciate those donations. Thank you very much for that. Please keep that under consideration. But I'm going to start with this album, and this is a extremely highly underrated jazz album, one that I think everybody should check out if you're into serious acoustic jazz. There's no doubt you should check this out by this legendary jazz musician, Wayne Shorter. This album was originally introduced on Blue Note Records in 1965. It's called Juju. Mine is the Blue Note Classic Series reissue version of the record. I believe the reissue version came out in 2024. The original album on Blue Note Records came out in 1965. The famous stereo Blue Note jazz record label. Man, I'm telling you, this album was an extreme pleasure and joy to listen to. This album, Wayne Shorter tenor sax, McCoy Tyner piano, Reggie Workman bass, Elvin Jones drums. Yes, Wayne Shorter recruited a couple of brothers from Brother John Coltrane's group for this sensational jazz album. Let me tell you something. Talk about underrated. This album, where you have Wayne Shorter is in the left speaker, Elvin Jones in the right speaker, McCoy Tyner on piano, Reggie Workman bass, around the center of the sound stage. All the compositions on this record, I'll show you the songs in the back of the album. Hope it's coming out on the video. If not, I apologize. All the compositions are by Wayne Shorter, and they're extremely engaging and very engulfing and very entertaining in terms of the involvement of the musicians, all musicians in these great jazz compositions. The songs I like the best on this, and if you hadn't heard this album, please listen to it on YouTube. But there's a song called Deluge on side 2, the second song on side 2. And the second song, the second song on side 1 called Deluge, and the second song on side 2 is called Yes or No. You want to start with those 2 albums if you don't want to listen to the album all the way through, because I think those are the best songs on this tremendous jazz album. I don't have enough great things to say, at least about the performance. The sound's a different story. We're going to get to that in a second. But this is an exceptionally great jazz album, in my opinion. Like I said before, it's highly underrated. It flies under the radar in terms of some of the more better jazz records, in my opinion, one of the better jazz albums. This is a sensational effort by Wayne Shorter. He's playing tremendously. There's nice solos on this album. Say, for example, Elvin Jones and McCoy Tyner on the song Juju. There's nice solos with, Elvin Jones in the right speaker, where, that echo and delay and ambiance, it goes like beyond the right speaker in both dimensions. McCoy Tyner again in the center of the sound stage. I have the same complaint as I do with a lot of these Blue Note albums. I shouldn't say a lot, but some of these Blue Note albums where the piano and the bass could have been mic'd and recorded better. On this album, especially the bass, I thought it could have been captured better and recorded better for a jazz-loving audience in 1965. However, overall, it's like I said, it's a very nice, a very great performance. I'll give the performance a 9.5. This is a legit, serious jazz, acoustic jazz performance. The recording, again, is a different story. I'm going to give it like, gosh, it's somewhere between an 8.5 and a 9. Somewhere in that range. An 8.5 and a 9 because, again, I thought the piano and bass could have been recorded better, especially the bass. Almost like the bass at times, almost like too buried in the mix where you couldn't hear the detail of the bass in this beautiful jazz record, in my opinion. So I'm gonna give the sound probably somewhere between an 8.5 and a 9, somewhere in that range. But this is a serious jazz album that you should seriously check out. I don't have enough great things to say about this record. I simply don't. Sensational performance by Wayne Shorter and his tenor saxophone. Like I said, they're very engaging, very involving jazz compositions that jazz fans, if you're into the jazz, check this album out, please. Wayne Shorter, Juju. Performance a 9.5. Sound somewhere between an 8.5 and 9 because of the lack of presence in the piano and to mainly the bass, in my opinion. The next two are going to be on CDs that I'm going to review, but my guess is I'm sure these are probably available LP format if you're interested in that format. But the CD is a great format. Oh, by the way, I listened to the Wayne Shorter Juju album on a Rega P8 turntable with a Feather 3 cartridge. This is Shirley Horn. May the Music Never End. This was issued in 2003. It says here on Verve Records. Show you the CD inside. Take this insert out. There is the CD. And this is probably not prime Shirley Horn in terms of her beautiful voice, but this CD was recorded exceptionally well, in my opinion. I listened to this on a Sony SCD-XA9000ES Super Audio SACD player that plays CDs, but the output, the digital output, went to my Denafrips Pontus 15th edition DAC. It's a great sounding DAC for $2,000. However, with those tariffs, you're not getting it for $2,000 anymore. I'm glad I bought mine in 2024 before these tariffs hits, because I wouldn't be able to afford that DAC today. But this has very great songs on it too. A nice song selection. Hopefully that comes out on the video. And oh, by the way, on selected compositions, you have Roy Hargrove on trumpet and Ahmad Jamal on piano and several other musicians in their place during other songs. But she does a very good version of the song If You Go Away. If You Go Away was originally a Jacques Brel song. The French singer Jacques Brel. It was originally a Jacques Brel song, and there was an English language translation version of it by the great Rob McEwen, one of my best, or I should say one of my favorite singers and poets of all time. I'm a huge Rob McEwen fan. I think I have more Rob McEwen records than any other artist in my collection. But getting back to this, she does a great version, If You Go Away, an emotional version, and a very nice version of Paul McCartney's Yesterday. Her version is a very emotionally moving version of Paul McCartney's Yesterday. And the way this was recorded, you have Shirley Horn in the middle of the sound stage with a lot of presence, ambiance, echo, and delay. Now, I was sitting back in the back of my music room. It was a beautiful effect. Listening to her great performance. This CD represents the frequency spectrum from the lower frequencies to the upper frequencies very well. The bass is very, heavy bass. Some may like it, some may not. I actually like it. But this performance by Shirley Horn, May the Music Never End, is an exceptionally great digital version of the album on CD, like on my equipment, on my speakers, in my ears, in my music room. Definitely check out Shirley Horn, May the Music Never End. The performance and sound are both 9.5s. It's a great a legit great performance, a great vocal performance by Shirley Horn, and a fantastic recording, in my opinion, in terms of capturing the frequency range and the ambience, echo, and delay of Shirley Horn's voice. A CD you should definitely check out. Now, the last one is going to be a soft recommendation. I may have talked about this in a previous video. I'm not sure. Sometimes you do so much these videos, you might, repeat some of these CDs or albums. This is a CD, and it's Chet Baker. This CD came out in 1977, somewhere around that time frame. I know it was recorded in 77. It's called You Can't Go Home Again. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but the name of the CD is You Can't Go Home Again. Now, this effort by Chet Baker is different. But before I get to the effort and the performance and sound, there are some legendary great musicians on this CD. You have on various tracks Chet Baker, obviously on trumpet, Michael Brecker saxophone, John Scofield electric guitar, Ron Carter bass, Alfonso Johnson electric bass, Tony Williams drums. I think Tony Williams is on all tracks. Ralph McDonald percussion. You have Paul Desmond on one song on alto saxophone, and several other musicians. I'm going to show this. If it doesn't come out in the video, I'm sorry, but because the text is so small. But if it does, that's a sample size of all the musicians on this CD. And I apologize if you cannot see or discern the musicians on this CD because the text is so small. But this came out, oh, by the way, on A&M. It says A&M Jazz Heritage Records. It's A&M Records, I guess. And this is pretty cool because the first song, which is Love for Sale, they tell you the positions of the instruments in the sound stage at the bottom right here. And I apologize, it's not coming through on the video. And that's pretty accurate. Their version of Love for Sale, the first two songs, Love for Sale and Un Poco Loco, I'm probably mispronouncing that name, the name of that song, are almost like jazz fusion, jazz funk type of songs. And some of you out there who love Chet Baker may not appreciate or like Chet Baker playing in that setting. It's almost like taking a musician like, I don't know, Errol Garner or Oscar Peterson and putting them in a jazz fusion band. That's probably not what we're used to seeing or hearing from those musicians. We're used to hearing, I think Chet Baker at his best is acoustic Chet Baker playing like in a quintet or quartet with serious jazz musicians, where Love for Sale and Un Poco Loco are like jazz, funk, jazz fusion songs. And some of you might not, like Chet Baker playing in that type of setting. For example, Love for Sale, the first minute and a half of that song, I really was not into. I didn't think that was a great introduction to that song, the first minute and a half of Love for Sale. It picks up after that, and it's a very nice, like I said, jazz, funk, jazz fusion version of Love for Sale. But some of you, the jazz purists, which I'm not necessarily a jazz purist because I like all versions of jazz, like jazz fusion, jazz funk, acoustic jazz, bebop, hard bop, all forms of jazz. I'm not necessarily a strict jazz purist. So I like these songs, Love for Sale and Un Poco Loco, better than the average fan. But some of you may not like Chet Baker in those two particular songs. The third song, You Can't Go Home Again, is the one that features Paul Desmond on alto sax. And I believe, if I recall, he was in the center of the sound stage. Chet Baker may have been around that area. If I recall, I forgot. But that's a very nice song for those of you who really love Chet Baker. That's a song to listen to, not necessarily the first two songs. And there's a very great drum solo. I think it's, either the first or second song by Tony Williams, and a fantastic tenor sax solo by Michael Brecker on El Moro. I'll show the song listing again. Michael Brecker is tremendous on this album, so is Tony Williams. but he has a lot of legendary jazz musicians on this CD. The problem is, I don't know if they went in the proper direction in terms of the song selection and the type of jazz they were playing. Maybe they were trying to, make Chet Baker more relevant to a music buying audience. Maybe that was their goal, because it would be cool if they could have took the exact same musicians and made a little bit more of a serious jazz album without the jazz funk and jazz fusion for serious jazz fans, because a lot of people who are into jazz, that's what they think about Chet Baker. This effort by Chet Baker, I'm going to get to the sound first. The sound of this CD is exceptional. The keyboards were recorded well, the trumpet, the drums, the horns, everything was recorded exceptionally well. The sound gets a legit 9.5 for a digital CD. The performance, however, like I said, when I think of Chet Baker, although this is a nice Chet Baker effort, this is not what I think of when I think of Chet Baker. Again, I think of Chet Baker playing acoustic jazz in a quartet or quintet, non-jazz funk, non-jazz fusion music, although I think he was quite good on this CD. The performance, I'm going to give a 7.75. That's what I came up with. To me, it wasn't quite an 8. It wasn't a 7.5, so I put it split in the middle, a 7.75 on the performance, a 9.5 in sound. If you're into Chet Baker, check this out anyway. It might be worth your time. Some of you might like the jazz fusion, jazz funk aspects of the first two songs, and the performance of Chet Baker and Paul Desmond in the third song. If you can't go home again, you can't go home again. I'm sorry. Those are the 3 selections for this video, a listening session. Please check them out on YouTube. Like I always say in my videos, I don't play music on my channels because of copyright infringement issues. I don't want to get a copyright infringement strike on my video. Take it down. I'm not taking that risk. But check those albums out, especially the Wayne Shorter and the Shirley Horn albums. Please leave your comments in the comment section below if you have those albums. Please like and subscribe. God bless, strong love. And more important than the music, brothers and sisters, let's keep the peace worldwide.